Hi, welcome or welcome back to Salty at 60. Today we are going to talk about what happens when we stop chasing trends or trying to keep up with the Joneses. So let's get into it. So what happens if you stop chasing trends, stop trying to keep up with the Joneses? You know, this is a particularly important question for those of us who are over 60 because we see a lot of content creators aimed at us, and they have a general theme, and the theme is how not to look old, how not to look dated, how not to look frumpy. So basically their hidden message is you're going to look old if you don't stay with the trends. So yeah, the message is pretty clear. We're going to look old. We're going to look like we're out of step. And, you know, that's a really difficult thing to swallow and none of us want to be that way. You know, if you're a lady who is into style and still cares about what she looks like, you know, you don't want the younger generation to think that you're not showing up in life anymore, that you've just kind of given up. So that is one reason why a lot of women will continue to chase trends rather than chasing their personal style. So I have reached a bit of a milestone in my journey, really starting this past summer, where I was really getting tired of chasing the trends. I was already looking way ahead to see what was coming in the fall, you know, looking at the colors, looking at what was coming down the runways, and just something clicked in my brain, and I was like, you know, I'm tired of chasing trends. That's not to say that I will not follow trends, that I like to, you know, talk about them. I like to do videos about them. I like to talk about what colors are coming out, what styles are coming out. The difference is, although I like that and I enjoy it and I do want to be in the know, it doesn't mean that I have to follow every trend. So here is what I am learning about myself this fall when I'm not really chasing trends. Now, that does not mean I don't follow trends. If it's something I like, I'm going to possibly purchase that for my closet. What it means is what we're going to do is we're going to evaluate the trends that come out and decide, is that a style that I would feel comfortable in? Is that a style that will mix with the other pieces in my closet? Is that a style that does not fit my silhouette or my shape? Or, and I hate to use this tag to anything, it's not about, you know, there are no tags on your clothing for certain age groups, you know, but there is a way we can date ourselves. So maybe I go a little too hard in the beginning talking about some of the content creators, because maybe some women really need to hear that. But I think that my point in talking about age and following the trends is, at this time in our life, we should know who we are. We should know what, you know, where we're at in life. And part of that is, you know, having that certain dignity of understanding and recognizing that we are not like 35 anymore, and that, you know, things change, the body changes. Just because you can wear a particular item, you know, you may be thin enough or feel comfortable enough in your skin to wear certain pieces, doesn't mean that, you know, you should wear them. There is a certain dignity in, you know, owning where you're at right now in your life. So just keep that in mind. Again, I see women over 60 who rock bikinis, look fabulous, but there is a way that we can dress, quote, too young for ourselves. And it can really take away from our beauty and the beauty that we are living in now in this phase of our life cycle. So as I mentioned, I have been trying since summertime to sort of move away from that, chasing the trends, trying to find my own, you know, style, my own personal style. And that is one of the benefits of when you give up chasing trends, not following them, but just chasing them, then you can sort of lean into, how do you really want to appear? And so really, it's been like 3 years that I've been doing this, but, you know, it all comes in little pieces, and you get a little piece of the puzzle and you're like, aha, I get that. And so it takes time to, you know, figure out what is my actual personal style, and whether that's trending or not, and how comfortable do I feel in that particular style. And I'll use myself as an example. I have three, style words that I follow from the Alison Bornstein's method, which is natural, regal, and casual. And I'll tell you quickly what those words mean to me, and what I later discovered. Casual to me just means I don't like to wear outfits that are too fussy or are too restrictive. Like, I'm not much of a suit girl. I don't like to wear clothes with really, really strong lines. It just, I don't feel natural when I do that. And for me, natural just means I like materials that are, feel luxurious. I like, I don't want to dye my hair anymore. I don't want to use too many heat tools on my hair anymore. And I'm very light on the makeup. So that's what natural means to me. And as for the regal aspect of it, that really comes in from my height. I'm 5'10". And, I always used to try to shrink from my height. I no longer do that. I'm learning to dress those lines I have, those long lines. And so that is really how I started this journey. So what I'm going to share with you here today, I'm going to break down these outfits that I'm going to show you here and what my thought processes were as I picked each item up and worked that into my wardrobe, what my thoughts were, and how I want that to ultimately take me to that place where I want to be in my closet. So just really quickly before we get into what I was doing here, there's three components to it. One is that in the David Kibbe style system, I believe that I'm a flamboyant natural. And also I believe that my coloring is very low contrast and light. So I am somewhere in that summer category, although I have not been analyzed yet. I want to do that so bad just for the fun of it. And wouldn't mind getting typed either, just for the fun of it. So that, and then the other thing I wanted to talk about was my color palette. Because I discovered that the lighter color palette and less contrast color palette works best for me, I have started to shift from going from things like this dark navy blue. Although I love navy blue, I still think it looks great. It works better on me than, say, a black was. But I will show you how the colors and what I was thinking when I bought them are all leaning towards doing a cooler, lighter palette. So let's get into the outfits. All right, in this first outfit, I want to immediately point out that I had this black shirt that I purchased early in the spring before I had really nailed down my coloring. And, why I still think this shirt is right for me. As a flamboyant natural, I need things to be a little bit more airy. I need it to be a little more lighter. And you could say this has got the ruffles up and down. It's very much on trend because of the boho style being in trend. However, what I discovered is when I figured out what my body type was and why I never felt comfortable in, like, say, button-up shirts, that I always liked this style of shirt better on me. I felt more like me in it. I felt like this is a shirt I'm going to continue to wear, even though the coloring might be a little bit strong for me. But in order to make this work, I paired it, with a pair of black sneakers, again, casual. And these jeans, I've actually owned these jeans for about 2 years now. They've got the sort of the shredded bottom. I think they came from, I want to say Lands' End, but I really don't remember. And, they're wide leg without being too wide. And that keeps it all in the natural for me. It's like, not overly dressy, which is my style. But I brought in this one element of this ruffle shirt. And I really liked it. And then it sent me on to getting some other pieces I'm going to show you in some other outfits here. One of the things I was also doing this summer, and I know I said this in a previous video, is that my accessory game was bad. And it's because I lived years and years of only owning like 2 pocketbooks for the entire year. And so my handbag game is really off. This is, it's not my first designer bag, and it's certainly not an expensive designer. This was a black purse, chain purse, that I picked up. It's actually in that slouchy style. And I picked the slouchy style not, again, because I'm trying to follow the trends, but because the structured bags, unless they have some sort of flow to them, I don't think they're going to be fitting my silhouette. So, like, now, and I'll talk about that again in another outfit I'm going to show you here. But I love this. This is a Kate Spade bag. I picked it up on eBay. I paid, I want to say like $50 for it. It is in excellent shape. What I did not like about it is it has a black lining, and that makes it difficult for me to see and use. So I really like this outfit, and this is one where I'm starting to lean into my style. I also wanted to point out the accessories that I'm wearing here. I picked up another necklace that's got like the 3 strands on it, and this is one where it just came that way. The 3 strands are together. And then I put on some bracelets. I like that cuffed look, but I don't like to wear a big cuff. I find that uncomfortable. So I just stacked a few little bracelets here. And it takes the natural look, and it does make it look like it's more intentional. Okay, so this blouse actually ties into that first experiment I had back in the spring with the black blouse that we just looked at. Once I nailed my colors and realized I wanted to go more towards the lighter palette, I went for this top, which is a little bit different. This one has the bell sleeves to it, and I really, really like that. But again, it has the ruffles, and it's got the tie neck, but if I tied it, it wouldn't feel as flowing and natural for me. So I really like this look. And what I did here a little bit different is, I told you I was, in the last video that I shot, I talked a little bit about essences, and even though I don't have mine completely figured out, I was very attracted to these, to the ethereal style. I mean, some call it the angelic style. I think that fits with me wanting to appear a little bit more regal, a little bit more, you know, have that little bit of a sparkle to my look. It sort of maybe softens my height a little bit. I'm not sure. But so what I did here was I bought these jeans. They are straight leg jeans, and they've got the little like diamond studs all through them. Just love that little bit of sparkle. And I thought this outfit would be really pretty for when it gets to be, you know, boot wearing weather, to be able to wear this with my boots. And then the other element that I picked up here was, and keeping it all sort of tonally, I added these gorgeous little suede gray loafers. I thought that was nice. And then the handbag I'm showing you here is another one of the new handbags that I picked up this summer. I love this bag, and I love patent leather because it's got that shine to it. But this is a Dooney & Bourke bag. I picked this up. I paid a little bit more for this one. It is a good size. I believe I paid about $80 or $90 for this one. I can't really remember, but I just love this look. This fits my style a lot better. And then I'm going to show you with what I topped this with. Okay, before we even talk about this next outfit, I want to apologize for the lighting in the last video and in this one. There'll probably be a few more where the lighting looks really dim. We had about a week where we didn't even see the sun. And I have to film in the morning, and it was daylight. I'm filming in my living room where I have these two big windows that, as you can see behind me. And I think I even pulled out one of my camera lights here, but it was just very, very dingy and dark that day. But I want to show you, this is a coat that I picked up this summer because I was already thinking about that flamboyant natural style. This is a beautiful wrap coat. My son and I, well, I should say my son took me to the factory outlets that are about, I don't know, maybe an hour's drive from where we live. And we made a day of shopping out of it. And I happened to pick this up in Ian Taylor because they were getting rid of really probably all of last year's items because everything was on clearance. And this coat, which is very substantial and feels really heavy, because I'm not going to be able to wear this until it gets cold because it is completely lined and it's quite thick. But this, I paid less than $40 for this. But here's, again, what I wanted to share with you. This coat meets that drapey style that I'm going for, that casual style that I'm going for. Rather than being like a double-breasted type of a coat, it's, you know, it's drapey, it's looser, the fit is a little bit more casual. So even though you may not have my particular style, you know, I'm showing you this one, like how you can train your brain or train how you're thinking about your pieces as you buy. Like I thought about the color white. I do like white. I love winter white. All of that fit in with my going for a more lighter color palette. So these are things you need to think about, like the pocketbook that I chose, the Dooney and Burke. I don't know what I was going to call it, but I wasn't going to call it the correct name. Again, it's a very light blue purse. And, you know, if you're a woman over 60, we were always told that you cannot wear white. You don't wear light colors in the winter. Well, that is old-fashioned thinking. I am going to wear the colors that suit me best. And you absolutely can wear a beautiful winter white after Labor Day. All right, here is another outfit that I had picked up this sweater, and I'm not really sure where I purchased that from, but I love the sweater because it's asymmetrical, it's long, and it had these really neat looking fitted sleeves, even though it was like drapey at the top, and it had an unconstructed neckline, and I just loved it. And it's like in a buff type color, so again, it's light colored. And I had purchased these jeans a few weeks back from Old Navy. They are the loose wide leg, but they're also in a very, very light wash. And I paired them here with a new pair of booties that I had purchased. They're really calf length boots that I had gotten from Old Navy because, and I talked about this in my last video and probably several of my other ones, I have a hard time getting footwear. And so I didn't want to spend good money on a shoe that it was not going to be wide enough for me. And fortunately, these were wide enough for me because they did not come in a wide. So these worked out really well for me. But this is just another example of keeping your color palette in mind, keeping your silhouette, the lines of your body, and what looks best on you, not in the trends, so that you can get your style to more closely reflect how you want to dress, how you want to appear. It's that way of getting to our personal style. So in this last outfit, I am again wearing those sequin sparkly jeans. What I wanted to share with you is what doesn't work for my body. So it was still very warm. I'm not really into my winter clothes right now, so my options were pretty limited. And I said, well, let me just try this, white shirt because, it's got the drapiness and all to it, but it's a closer fit to the body. And I can tell you that even if I was my proper weight and very thin, I don't like this look on me. And as you can see, when I wear the drapier tops, they've got the ruffles going on or the asymmetrical or bell sleeves going on, it's a better look for my body type. So this was really what not to wear. So I just wanted to share these few little outfits. There's no theme to this except to encourage you to stop following the trends and keeping up with the Joneses, because you will never get to that place where you are satisfied with your closet, or you'll be able to express your true personal style because you are always following trends. And it is an easy trap to fall into it. I certainly am not above falling into the trend trap, but I am starting to hone that muscle that tells me that's not for you, and to move on to something else. Just like, right now, brown is everywhere, and I do have a few brown pieces. I think in the last year or so, I picked up a pair of brown sneakers. I have a pair of brown trousers and maybe one brown top. That's it for me. I'm not going to buy any more brown because it's not my best color. You can have cool browns and you can have warm browns, but either way, it's just not my best color for me. I think it is the chroma of it. For the most part, it can either make me look too dull if it's a light cool brown, or there's too much contrast if it's a darker cool brown. So it's just not my color, and I just have to pass on that. Like, I see all these beautiful suede jackets and all that. Now, I did buy those little suede boots, but well, they're not really suede, but those are fine. Those are on my feet, so that works for me. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this, and I hope it will make you just think about what you're bringing into your wardrobe. And I want to leave you with these final words. We do want to look current. We do want to look like we still matter, because we do matter. It doesn't matter what your age is, whether you are 63 like myself or you're 83. We still want to show up in the world looking like we know what we're doing, that we're aware of the fashions so that, you know, we can interact with different generations and people don't overlook us. You don't have to become invisible, but you do have to work at, you know, staying on trend, but at the same time, dressing your own authentic style. So I will see you in the next video. Thanks.